What's up, everybody? It's me, Jum Jumington, former CEO of Jumington Dynamics, broadcasting live from the Jumington Dynamics Auxiliary Hazardous Material Storage Facility somewhere in the world. How's everybody doing this evening? I had Mr. Dilly Tingle, Kaiju, yo, Kaiju. Thank you, as always, for popping in. Hit me with that like and subscribe message. Yes, you do it. You like and subscribe. Hey, Flash, what's going on? Welcome in. Welcome to a not-so-secret Saturday stream. Don't usually stream around this time, but the only day I can fit it into the schedule. We are back for some more wrap-up, basically, of Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, a.k.a. Clock Tower Ghost Head. So I went through and I got all of the rest of the endings. I've got a couple to show you. They're not very interesting. I'll say that, but I tried to pick the three of them that I thought were at least had something going on. I saw some comments online that the endings were censored in the American version. I have seen no evidence of that. I think that it is a misconception because there's just nothing going on. Most of the endings are just a still image of a building with someone going like, well, that's the end. And then that's it. So I think people thought it was censored. It's not. There are several differences. Just weird differences between the Japanese and the English versions. We'll get into that. But yeah, I really wanted to like hit on this just a little bit more, just touch on a little bit more, and I ran out of time when I completed the game last time. So I don't like to just wrap up a game, finish it, and just be like, well, I'm out of here. I like to give a little bit of thought. Yeah, I see a lot of people talk about censorship in games where it doesn't exist. And it's not hard to see where the idea comes from because censorship does exist. Stuff does get cut in the American release. But they talk about things like Dragon Quest, the original Dragon Quest. There's like a running gag in Dragon Quest games with the puff puff massage, which is where, you know, a woman rubs her chest on you. And that's the massage. They call it the puff puff massage. I don't believe that's been censored in anything. It just goes to a black screen and then that's it. It doesn't show anything. It's on the NES. What were you expecting anyway? But I see people say now it may be that they just took that out in the US release. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I don't think that's what they referred to. So I see a lot of weird stuff like that. I just felt the need to put that out there. I get a little cantankerous about incorrect information about things. But there are several differences in the English to Japanese version. Let me power on the old PS1 and then we'll get into it. Fade to Black is a classic move. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that still exists on like the newest one. There's someone you can go to get that puff puff massage, and it just goes to black. It may make a noise. It may just put like puff puff on the screen. It's just a funny little inside gag. So I've been staring at this loading screen for a while, and it's driving me insane. So let's go over there. So first, I'm going to go through some of the endings. There are several endings. The way you get almost every ending, except for ending G, is by more or less either making a wrong choice, which that's only a couple of them, or more commonly, talking to someone as Bates when you're supposed to be Alyssa. That's where most of them go wrong. And in pretty much every case, the ending is just that you died. It's not like the first Clock Tower, where there are different endings that lead to different like ending outcomes, like different number of people saved, or maybe you get away but don't quite get away. There's a lot more variety in that. Even the second one had more variety. But in this game, it's basically just like, no, you made the wrong choice and it's game over and you're dead. So that's about it. So we're going to go through some of these other endings. Now, the reason I went through and got the other endings is that it opens up a pamphlet mode. The Master of the Bates ending. How dare you, Diddly Tingle? How dare you? That is a good one, but how dare you? If you complete all of the endings, you get a pamphlet that contains additional information. This game, more than the others, I feel like a lot of the story is contained outside of the game, because I also have a translation that was released of the official guidebook, which has just a mountain of background information to try and make more sense of it. Even that doesn't fully make sense of it. There's some weird inconsistencies. So the first ending, I'm going to go through just some of these endings that I thought were funny. This one is towards the end of the game. There's two just like this. This should put us right where I want to be. The end of this game was incredibly frustrating. And the last level especially is what puts me off of this game almost entirely. Get my analog on there. There we go. Okay, so there's two of these. There's one with Hank Hill over here, Mr. Bowman, and the other one with the cop. And basically they ask you if you want to leave, and you can say, yes, I do want to leave. Well, this is where the game gets really aggravating to me, because in the last section, you're forced to kind of go back and forth between Alyssa and Bates. If you are Alyssa Bates when you come in here, you won't get this dialogue. You won't get this option for the ending. If you're Bates, you have to be Bates to get Alyssa's father to show up to open a locked door. Once you go through that locked door, there's a zombie. So you might think, I'll stay as Bates so I can shoot the zombie. Then the next room you go into, you have to be Alyssa. Otherwise, it won't progress. So you go back and change back to Alyssa and come back. And you do that. And you go through the next doorway. And guess what's there? It's another zombie. And if you're Alyssa, you got to run all the way back, all around here to find an area where you can hide from or kill the zombie. And the whole third mission is like that. Which in my mind, I feel like they were going for like Resident Evil. They wanted it to be more actiony, and it just doesn't line up. There's a lot of missteps on that. So this is the ending where
what's going on?
Bowman asks if we want to leave, and we say yes. And you'll see what I mean when I say these endings are just kind of pointless. That's why I didn't go through all of them on stream.
I've learned one thing.
I just picked out these handful to finish out.
Missing.
Maxwell. That name. Maxwell.
Well, who could it be?
Get out of here. You want to come with me?
So that's one big difference. So if I say yes here, on right here, there's one big difference between the English and the Japanese is that in the Japanese, it's called Clock Tower Ghost Head, and the Hanya mask wearing stalker with the big hatchet, the big axe that chases you around, when it shows his name, like the subtitle, he's called Ghost Head, because the fact that he is like the guy the curse is named after, which is Saito, it's the Saito curse in Japanese, Maxwell in this, the fact that he is that guy is like a plot twist that they just completely give away in the English version by calling him Maxwell from the start. Like, you just know he's Maxwell. Ghost Head never comes up. Of course, it's not called Ghost Head in the US, so that end of it is okay, but like, they could have called him something else. to leave that there. Not that it lends any more clarity to the story.
Okay, let's beat it.
Don't you make me repeat it.
Okay.
So here's our first ending. Could have called him Demon Head. Yeah, they could have called him all kinds of stuff. Could have just called him Killer. Ghost bullying you. That's that. I mean,
Well, I'm not sure
it
this
is also
right.
that.
We can't be much help.
And there's your end. Which it's kind of clear when people look at this and go, they must have censored that. They must have censored or cut endings. No, that's the end. That's your ending. And that's how most of them are. It just shows the outside building. There's some lines that are like, well, I don't want to leave, but I'm leaving. And then that's it. There's ending C for you. So they pretty much all fall in line with that. Though some of them have a bit more going on. So the next one is one that I just thought was funny. And it's one of the cases where if you are Bates at the wrong time, you'll trigger an ending. Because sometimes it's you need to be Alyssa, but not have the amulet. And if you do have the amulet, you won't turn into Bates and you'll just get killed. And if you don't, you'll turn into Bates and carry on. See, our parents will be disappointed. Hey, C's get degrees, baby. At least around here they do. No job is ever going to give a crap about your grades. I'll tell you that much. No employer is ever going to ask for your report cards. Which doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive for excellence in your scholastic studies. I wish I could think of another word, but that's shows my education level. But yeah, don't stress it that much. Don't stress it so much, because once you're out in the workforce, no one's going to give a crap. All right, so we're supposed to be Alyssa now. And she just kind of threatens us. Rather have a B than a C. I can handle a bad B. Nobody wants a total C. I see what you're doing there, Brahmo. I see what you're doing. I know a lot of people prefer D's. I am not of that persuasion, but if that's you, go get that D. To each their own. This is Shannon, who is apparently our father's actual daughter.
I am Shannon.
Very mysterious. I am Shannon. There are those who call me Shannon.
I've asked what you're really up to.
How fortunate for you to come here. You did come.
Not a whole lot of love
early,
of
dear.
straight VTubers.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, that's probably true. This is great. I love this ending.
That's my line. I'll send you to meet your maker.
All right. Oh no, you just get shot.
Good riddance, you cursed girl.
Bates is all kinds of threatening, and he just gets shot, and that's it. Nope. Just done for.
My grudge will last forever.
Yep. It's another fun one. To be fair, penetration was done. That doesn't count if it's a bullet. If it's a knife, yeah, but if it's a bullet, that's that's something, I guess. So, something reached the uterus. Well, yeah, I guess it did. I guess it did. So I got to point out one of the voice actors on this. Bates, the voice of Bates is Roger Jackson. Sometimes I see it listed as Roger L. Jackson. You may recognize the voice of Roger Jackson. I didn't at first, as the phone voice of Scream. He's the guy that does the Scream voice. It's Roger Jackson, which I thought was funny. Additionally, while I'm on the subject of voice acting, do you remember in the last Clock Tower game, the old butler who gets crushed by a chandelier? He's voiced by Barry Gearday. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but the guy who did the voice for Barry Burton in Resident Evil did the voice of the old man butler who gets crushed by a chandelier in Clock Tower / Clock Tower 2 on the PlayStation. I thought that was fun. I didn't look up the rest of them. I don't know, and then nothing super notable to me. It took me 30 years to learn that Shredder was James Avery. Yeah. I've forgotten that. Oh yeah. Uncle Phil. Yeah. I was having trouble putting a face to the name there. Yeah, I caught on that. Not like real quickly, but it was several years after the fact, watching like a Fresh Prince episode. Like, wait a minute, he's been Shredder all along. Samurai Jack, voiced by a black man. Who does the voice for Samurai Jack? I remember ending H for handgun, apparently. And then this last ending I want to show is a bit more involved and it's pretty gory, which is why I chose it. It's when I learned that Luke Skywalker was the Joker. Oh man, wait, I knew that before. Like, that was a lot of the excitement of it. He did such a good job with it. He was also the trickster in the Flash TV show, which I believe was before that, and it was kind of like the practice run of Mark Hamill as the Joker. Phil Lamar. Was it Phil Lamar? Wow. Shows what I remember. You used to watch cartoons in French. Oh, well, see, that'll do it. Were they voiced in French, or were they just subbed? I imagine they were probably voiced in French. I'm guessing. I had this obsession in my high school years with tracking down, like, I'd like pick some actor and then go track down everything I could find that they starred in. Bruce Campbell was one of them. I'd go find any movie that Bruce Campbell was in, even for a second. Like, he's in Darkman. Did you know that? Bruce Campbell is in Darkman. At the very end, when Darkman disappears into the crowd, he's wearing Bruce Campbell's face. But Mark Hamill was one of them. That I look up all this stuff with Mark Hamill, and not a lot of it wasn't that great, but he's an entertaining actor. That's why a lot of bad movies turn out good. You can't tell bad acting with voice actors are on point. Indeed. Did you watch Evil Dead? I did watch the first season. Some of the second season, I never finished it. I have the box set. I haven't got around to finishing watching it. But man, I really enjoyed that. I thought they did a good job of it. I thought Mark Hamill was the Joker. I immediately rewatched Batman. Yeah, it's good. He's so good in that role. Like, other people have done Batman okay since he left the role, but like, I don't think any of them will ever match him. But then I also think for live action, nobody will ever match Jack Nicholson. And you can fight me on that. It's fine. You can spit all over my take on that, but Jack Nicholson is tops in my book. Let's see how far back. I think I saved right before. Okay. All right. So this is if you are Bates. When you talk to Alyssa, or not Alyssa's father, Uncle Phil. In the earlier parts, the early section of this game, which is my favorite, I thought the first section of this game was fantastic. I thought the kid was creepy. Even with the samurai statue, I thought that added like an extra bit to it that was, I just really enjoyed it. There were times playing it, especially going back through to get the other endings, where I'd be sitting in a room thinking of my next move, and all of a sudden the door would kick open, and here's this little kid with a knife. I thought it was like really well done. It's when they try to go the zombie route that it all just kind of falls apart. Uncle Not So Great Phil. Yeah. Well, he gets a bad end here, as well as us.
Hey, old man, you're spacing out.
Alyssa?
I'm not Alyssa. I've got a name. I am Bates.
Your voice is different. You really do have multiple personalities.
Yo.
So what if I do? I don't need to tell you about it.
I love Bates. I love Bates's
The Maxwell
personality.
curse.
I love his lines. Yeah, the laughter in the Japanese audio is just as creepy and good. Someone tell Uncle Phil he's got a Hitler stash. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows. He seems the type, sadly. If it was a modern meeting, he'd be canceled immediately. You know, after when a kid is chasing you with a knife. Yeah, and why the kid is chasing people with a knife is like one of the worst written things when you get to the end of it. When they're like, oh, this is why that happened. Yo, Kaz, have you finished with the brain? Yes, you did finish the brain rot. I was watching. I was lurking. My brain cells were diminishing. I temporarily lost the ability to communicate verbally or otherwise. But it was very good. It was very good singing. Early jump stream. It is. It's an early, weird, secret weekend stream. Not so secret because I schedule it. Simple kick. Nearly kicked her. Yep. And unless you are Alyssa, Alyssa's too scared to do anything.
That little creature must have done this.
Yep.
There's something in his hand.
So Philip had his arm just hacked off. And that is our special key to the secret room. How unintelligible is Clock Tower right now? You know, it's at this point, like if you haven't watched the other ones, well, you're not missing anything because the story is super convoluted. In this one, Clock Tower 2 Struggle Within, aka Ghost Head, is a convoluted story that is mostly explained outside of the game. Weirdly enough, I don't think I need to turn lights on, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll remind everybody to get out there and check out Mr. Sky Oxen's channel. I don't know why I called you Oxen's. Put a weird accent on that. Sky Oxen's channel. If you haven't already subbed to him, go ahead and sub. Watch some of his videos. Get those watch hours up. Get that sub count up. He's so close. He's so close. And we're going to get there. We're going to get him there. I'll post a link here in a sec. I mean, anybody you see here with Vtuber should go check him out. But
An eerie feeling.
yeah, so the statue's just in here now. The gold statue that we burn. That is cursed, maybe. Only not. Hey, Utter Chaos, welcome.
Right, doesn't it, old man?
Well, he's dead.
Alyssa, and you too are cursed. The Maxwell curse. Anyone who touches that statue,
Okay.
Alan Hale and I, we...
You're
Uh-huh.
not making any sense.
Oh, there's no way to...
No. Well, he's dead.
There you are, you little runt.
And so are we. No reaction. Or are we dead? Okay. There's another one where you get killed and afterwards you hear Bates go, "You're crazy," which is weird. It escaped to a phasmophobia house. It did. That's where she landed up through the window. Did I watch Short Wars? I didn't get a chance to dig into that, but I will. I will. But I didn't get a chance to dig into that. You will. All right, so that is the last of those endings. There is also an ending that I don't have a save for, but you remember when we find Alyssa's father handcuffed in there? If you go in there as Bates just straight up stabs him, and then that's it. It's like he just stabs the father and leaves. good stuff. Now, unfortunately, we can't watch any of them. Only the actual full real ending has like a cinematic you can go back and rewatch. But it does unlock the pamphlet. So we can go through the pamphlet now and get extended information. And you only unlock this from getting all of the saves. And my understanding too is that the Japanese also contains additional information in these, in addition to the names being different for Japanese. So we'll just go through this. Alyssa Hale, a young girl Ellen Hale, dug up from the Maxwell family grave to cause the ruin of George Maxwell. Her real name is Lynn Maxwell. Her father, director of a major hospital, was not home much, so Alyssa spent much of her childhood alone, and she grew up to become a very quiet girl. When she was still quite young, her father gave her a charm, which she called Amulet. It has a much fancier name in Japanese. She carried it with her always, and it became a source of power. She has a gloomy disposition, possessed with spiritual intuition. She wants to link everything to otherworldly phenomenon. I think that's a mistranslation. She doesn't really have spiritual intuition. She's just curious about the occult. She reads a lot of books. That's not the same thing as being psychic. Bates. Alyssa Hale's male alter ego. The Maxwells, fearing that their twins were the cursed children, born yet again, buried them alive in the family grave just after they were born, as was done in past generations. Bates is cruel, unjust, and heartless, yet kind to Alyssa, which might be a simple defense instinct. Any actual significance or reason to his existence is unknown. There's a lot of implications. Of this. The Bates personality. And they also mentioned that there were twins, but there's only one kid. So presumably the other kid is still buried and just died. They just dug up one of them. Alan Hale, Alyssa's guardian father, but actually Shannon Lewis is his true daughter. Hale at one time worked with Philip Tate at Memorial Pharmaceuticals Research Lab. Hale was among the top technicians at the lab until the science genius George Maxwell appeared and ousted him from his position. Consequently, he conspired with Philip Tate to dig up Maxwell's illegitimate child from the grave. The plan was to cause the ruin of George Maxwell, but instead of using Alyssa, he exacted his revenge by infecting a golden statue with a toxin that would cause anyone who touched the statue to go raving mad. I just, illegitimate child. That's the first time it's brought up. Inhale. Everybody inhale. Breathing's good for you. So the statue, as we're told at the end of the game, and we're told again here, right? That gold statue isn't cursed. It's just got a drug on it that makes you go crazy. Oh, well, that's what happened. That's why little Stephanie went crazy and stabbed everybody, but also survived with 20 gunshot wounds and getting stabbed and kicked and beat the crap out of. Because she was high on PCP that was on the statue. No, I got you, Burhead. No. I got you. I'm just not going to say it. Philip Tate. Was the statue an angel? Angel dust. Get it? No. Could be. The statue looked weird. I don't think I still have no, I do still have the statue here. This was the statue. Let's look at this thing, this freaky thing here. I wouldn't call that an angel. Goldust the wrestler. Could be. I imagine having all that paint on you would probably make you go crazy. Eventually, anyway. Biblically accurate angel, maybe. Some kind of angel. What is it? Oh, I just found some weird thing in here. I'm gonna get rid of you. Yep, good. Okay. Philip Tate directed the Memorial Pharmaceuticals Research Lab. Although a coward willing to even commit crime if it would help him reach his ambitions, Tate digs up the Maxwell grave at Hale's urging. Hale told Tate that the statue contained the Maxwell family's secret. He wants the secret of the Maxwell house. He fully believed the Maxwell curse, and he kept the statue hidden in a closet for 16 years without noticing the toxin hidden inside. Catherine Tate, Philip Tate's wife. She has no particular role, but she is the one who contacts the detective who takes Alyssa to the hospital. She just gets one line, one word in there. This one is very interesting, and there's actually a scene that touches on this that I don't know how to trigger. That somewhat explains this, or at least hints at it. Michael Tate, the eldest son in the Tate family and about to enter high school, while trying to escape from Stephanie, who has become a murderous zombie. No, she just went crazy, right? Or is she a zombie? Which is it, game? He climbs inside a suit of samurai armor. While in the armor, he too goes crazy from the toxin and himself becomes a wandering murderous zombie. So that samurai statue is Michael. That's why when the samurai statue didn't chase us, we found his dead body. When the samurai statue did chase us, we didn't find him. And there's a scene where in the third level, when you would get killed by the samurai statue, but because you interact with it, doesn't fall on you, it can still fall, not kill you. And then Alyssa will say, Michael, what happened? Or something to that effect, indicating that it's Michael inside the suit. So Michael climbed inside the suit and then went crazy. Now we're being told two different things here. The bacteria that infects people and turns them into green-blooded zombies, or yellow-blooded, green-skinned zombies, is not the same thing that was on the statue. The statue just had something to make you go crazy. So they're not really zombies. They just went crazy. So either he got infected with the zombie goo and became a zombie, or he went crazy and then maybe he's still alive only to die later. That is the implication by the game if he falls through the ceiling later, like he's been around this whole time. Ashley Tate, who we only saw in pieces, a first-year middle school student. While coming home from school, she was infected with the cerebral toxin by George Maxwell and becomes a living corpse. After returning home, she attacks her mother, Catherine, and is then killed by her father, Philip, but her right arm, which was injected with the toxin, continues to live. A very unlucky girl. So she's the body parts we found. The yellow-blooded, green-skinned body parts that we found was her, chopped up. Stephanie Tate. Oh my God, she looks absolutely insane. She looks totally crazy here. The little kid coming at the knife, even though, like, you can defend against it pretty easily, as Perhenmo points out. It's still pretty creepy. At least better than the zombies. I'm more worried about this kid than the zombies. This is a Sabby kid, right? Yep, this is a Sabby kid. A first grader and the younger daughter of the Tates, who's become a murderous zombie after she's infected with the toxin and planted in the golden statue by Alan Hale. Again, they keep referring to them as zombies. Like, they're not making a distinction here. She looks like Jokerized Robin in her church. Yes, she does. Exactly. She's all kinds of messed up there. They keep mixing and matching what they're doing. Either you've been driven insane or you became a zombie. The zombies are the people that are infected. Like Alyssa was, or not Alyssa, Ashley was a zombie, right? Let's go back here. Ashley Tate. Ashley Tate was a zombie. She was infected with the zombie stuff. She became a zombie. They chopped her up. Stephanie Tate's not a zombie. She was just driven crazy. It makes a whole lot more sense to me if they were to say, like, there was something supernatural in the statue, but to say, like, oh, it was just drugs. They just went on a wild trip, a bad trip, and stabbed everybody. She ultimately returns to normal from a chemical reaction when she sees the statue burn before her eyes. So burning the statue caused a chemical reaction that reversed her craziness. Is that how that works? Like if you took some drugs and then you burned the drugs you hadn't taken yet, would the drugs in your system just stop working? I don't think that's how it works. But apparently it does in this. That makes no sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. I really feel like the impression I have of this game is that they had the first chapter, possibly even with the original director, Hifumi Kono. Hifumi Kono was the original director. They asked him to make a sequel, and he couldn't make it. I think he might have been involved and written some of it, and then dipped out of the project, and that's when it became something else. There's a lack of coherency between the first part and the second and third part. When there was one, that statue has to be hallucinogen. Why else would everybody be rubbing on the statue? That's catnip. Human catnip. I don't know what that is. I dare not even think of what it could be. But I'm pretty sure it seems like they had the original part of the story written. It was a more traditional clock tower with supernatural elements. And then later they decided to make it a Resident Evil style bio-zombie. And then just had to like backpedal all of this stuff. In the end, the soul freed from Stephanie was merely a hallucination from the toxin that Alyssa saw. She was not possessed by anything. Yeah, because again, getting crazy on drugs makes you bulletproof. Same stuff as on dancing poles. I don't sweat and grease. I don't know, they gotta put something on those things. Stripper salt. What the Midsummer's that BS? Yeah, right? Isn't that what a terrible explanation. There's the cop, Alex Corey, a cool Snemish detective from the neighboring town of Prunedale. He saves his reputation as a cool character by turning up at the end of the scenario. Even the scenario writer doesn't know what happens between Corey and Alyssa after everything is over. Like I said, even I don't know, and I wrote this. Well, shouldn't you know that? No, I didn't care. Well, then why are you telling me? What are you telling me? I think some of this too is, in the original Japanese, they talk about some of these other characters that were originally intended to have a bigger role in the game or possibly be alternate playable characters, as we had in the previous one, and they just dropped it during production. And I think this is just the way they chose to convey that message, was just to be like, we don't know. Doug Bowman, looking super buff here. That is like the Image Comics Hank Hill. A newspaper reporter with a strong sense of justice. He too was relegated to playing a supporting role like Alex Corey, but his personality does not change. He is open-hearted and straightforward, but he is bad at dealing with dead-end situations. He tends to make hasty decisions. We just run into him a couple times. He doesn't give us any great useful information, and then it's over. But again, he was supposed to have like an actual role in it, and all that stuff got cut. Comics Hank, the protagonist of Propane, hero of Propane. Henry Kaplan, this is the guy that told us we'd get eaten up. Director of Memorial Hospital, Kaplan helps George Maxwell by providing him with patients for experiments. This causes Memorial Hospital to have a bad reputation. There is some stuff we find in the game, but it's not a lot. And the reason that there is like the cemetery and the lab, the hospital and the lab are like right next door to each other. And it's not made super clear. At least I didn't think so in the game, but like the hospital and the lab are right next to each other, and they were providing patients from the hospital to the lab for experimentation. And what they were experimenting with was the zombie bacteria. So that's why there's all these zombies in the hospital. They're like interconnected. Not super clear in the game. Jessica Cook, the head nurse of Memorial Hospital, she investigates Kaplan's activities on her own. When she discovers the cerebral toxin plan, there are already many zombies, and she thinks it is too late to do anything about it, so she tries to commit suicide. She's an extremely overwrought, emotional woman. Do you put that in there? It just seems unnecessarily insulting. Shannon Lewis, daughter of Alan Hale. When she was 8 years old, her parents divorced, and she was taken into custody by her mother, who died of illness a year later. Shannon was raised by relatives. Her hatred of her father, Alan Hale, builds, and when she sees him with Alyssa, she realizes she wants to exact revenge. Why she is completely white-skinned is beyond like the supernatural reference to, vengeful female spirits in Japanese mythology. Because they imply early on that she's some kind of ghost, because she just talks to us from out of nowhere and disappears without a trace. But then she shoots us, and she shoots the Kaplan guy too. So obviously she's not a ghost. Unless ghosts can use guns now, in which case, oh boy, all bets are off. It's Gwen's husband. Is it? Oh God, he's possessed. George Maxwell, who's called Ghost Head in the Japanese before we find out his name, works at Memorial Pharmaceuticals Research Lab, the eldest son of the noble Maxwell family. He has always had a reputation of being a genius, and rightfully so. Alan Hale is jealous of him and plans the whole incident. In 1982, George has a baby girl, Lynn, but believing her to be cursed, he buries her according to Maxwell tradition. No mention of the twins here. No mention of the twins, just one. Everywhere else they talk about twins. It's a weird omission. From then on, he hatches his cerebral toxin plan, which for him is most likely revenge against all humanity. He goes insane from the toxin implanted in the statue, which is sent to him by Alan Hale. He turns into a psychopathic killer, and he is virtually dead. So again, he got hit with the hallucinogen in the statue, and that made him like immortal somehow. And there's Alan Hale. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Golden statue. Everyone must die. Well, he literally says that. At one point, he says, everyone must die and suffer. Whole lot of flavor text for this man. Found a gallon of PCP, right? Alan Hale gives the statue to Philip Tate, saying that it possesses the Maxwell magic. But in reality, there is a toxin implanted in the statue which makes people go raving mad. Again, it makes people go raving mad, but then they're like, also they're zombies. No? What? Alan Hale thinks that Philip saw Alyssa when he dug her up from the Maxwell grave, so he plans to silence him with the infected statue. He hesitates to use Alyssa to ruin George Maxwell, so he sends the statue to George to make him go insane as well. So we go back to the twins. Alan Hale wants you to breathe in the dust. Get a good whiff of the statue. It's the Maxwell secret. Maxwell family history. Twin girls are rarely born into the Maxwell family who, believing them to be cursed, have been burying them alive for the past 100 years. It is unknown if the alter ego is the other twin spirit or if it is some ghost seeking revenge on the Maxwells. It's an amulet. Amulet! A plain amulet given to Alyssa by Alan Hale, her guardian father, which she has kept since childhood. It was most likely purchased at some shrine. Alyssa is often emotionally unstable, possibly because she knows she has an alter ego. Hale gave her the amulet to provide her stability and help prevent Bates from appearing. Cerebral toxin. This thing kind of looks like the, I don't even know what the hell they called it. The worm thing that was like the origin of the Titans in Attack on Titan. All right, that's what I see. The Maxwell family secret powder. It's just instant coffee. It's decaffeinated coffee crystals. Which we also it did to Chris Farley. That's where they got all the ideas for this, I'm sure. George Maxwell researched and developed this toxin. When administered, it grows into a parasitic brain inside the human body, killing the true brain. This causes the blood to turn yellow and the skin to turn green. Unless the parasitic brain is destroyed, the body will continue to live, even if it is hacked to pieces. And that's it. That's all the additional information we get out of that. Which is not a lot, but it's more than the game gave us straight out. However, we have the translated Clock Tower Ghost Head official guidebook. I won't read all of it. I will, however, post a link to it here in the chat, and you can go if you are interested. And I should probably put that in the description too. Give that pamphlet 2 out of 5. Yeah, I think the Japanese version is a little bit more wordy, and there is a newer translation of it, but I will read it. I will read it for him. I'm just putting it there so I can give these people some credit. Although there's no ads on this page, so it's not like directing traffic to them really does much to them anyway, but I want to give them, make sure that they're credited. So this is the Ghost Set official guidebook, character commentary, and essays. The following document contains translations of material from the Clock Tower Ghost Set official guidebook, running commentary from Alyssa Bates and other characters as events unfold that accompanies the guide's walkthrough, plus 3 in-universe essays written by original Frank Schubert-style characters, exclusive to the guide, that shed light on various unexplained aspects of the story. I'm illiterate. You never learned to read or write. As he types in chat. I'm gonna skip all of this stuff straight out the gate. I'm gonna skip all this stuff. Go through here. And you can read this if you care to read it. I don't know why you would, but if you do, there's this version which uses the US names. You can also read another version which uses the original Japanese names. Which they did it a lot. Like they changed the setting from Japan to California. Nobody buys that. It's very clearly Japan. He uses speech to text. Open your mind. No, open. I want to get to the bottom of this bonus section. Make sure that all shows up in there. Okay. Yeah. So this is the bonus section, which gives a little bit more immediate context to things. English, not French, so don't count towards my literacy. Ah, I gotcha. That Makes sense, I guess. Bonus. Uncle Philip is not related by blood to Alyssa's adoptive dad. The golden statue is gold in color, resolving the nagging issue of how the metal statue could be burnt. All right, so it was just like, like a wood statue made of gold. No, a wood statue like painted gold. That's how they burned it. Doesn't explain how the statue still exists at the end of the game. I don't, nothing for that. Toxin in the statue is not the HU599 parasitic brain. That's what they call the cerebral toxin in Japanese that has HU599. It's not the bacteria, but rather a hallucinogen. Rin, Alyssa's birth name means piercing cold. All of Alyssa's cousins in the Japanese version have a kanji for each season of the year in their names. Masaharu, spring. Chinatsu's the little girl. Summer. Akio, autumn. Akio's the one who gets chopped up. So is a wooden statue painted gold. Yeah, apparently. Which again, whatever you say, looked like a golden statue to me, but okay. And then Alyssa's real name, having a kanji of cold, could reference to winter and therefore to her cousins and how she's part of the family, even if not by blood. Okay, I thought that was interesting, but the statue thing especially was like, what's the deal? So in this guidebook, it has one, a running commentary by Alyssa and other characters that reacts to different events of the game as they happen in the game. Which is mostly just like, I can't believe they're dead. I can't believe this happened. What's going on? Bates, what is this place? The little shit walking around like she owns the joint, cackling to herself with her tiny shiv. The old lady she's chasing around, screaming her lungs out. Is that all anyone can do here? Run around squealing like a stuck pig? You can take me to the most fascinating places, Alyssa, but at least there's never a dull moment. And it's not like I'm wrapped up in that golden statue business anyway. So yeah, you can read through like the walkthrough in this guide, and then there's a little section with investigations. So here's Bowman's investigation. Several weeks ago, I heard the bizarre rumors patients and staff at Memorial Hospital are disappearing one after another for organ trafficking and living test subjects for new pharmaceuticals. On their own, they amounted to nothing more than baseless accusations, but some poking around revealed several individuals who actually had gone missing. They were all patients who were supposed to be hospitalized short term when the families came to pick them up on their scheduled discharge dates. However, they were told they've already been discharged. The families never saw their loved ones again. I feel like you could only do this once or twice before the cops would show up. Although I'm told that the Japanese cops let a lot of stuff slide. I don't know how accurate that is. Don't quote me. A single missing person could be chalked up to a voluntary disappearance. After several, however, suspicion inevitably falls upon the hospital. When I asked Memorial for an interview, the director turned me down, claimed he was too busy. The chief nurse strongly denied the allegations. According to our documentation, all discharge procedures were properly followed, and the patients were released without incident. I was not present at each individual discharge. You'd have to speak to the attending nurse. The patients in question were being treated for minor illnesses, so not even a medical error could have possibly resulted in death. Who said anything about death? She stumbled and hesitated frequently during an interview. However, at points, even she didn't seem to believe what she was saying. I made up my mind to break into the hospital, even though I knew I'd be breaking the law. Breaking the law. My investigation had only deepened my convictions, and what I witnessed at this hospital has gone far beyond anything I could have imagined. Patients, their skin an unnatural color, wandering, prowling the hospital, attacking anyone who comes near. Something unimaginable has happened here. Despite it all, I must obtain further evidence. My investigation continues. The tone and style used in the article don't quite fit the Japanese version of the character, Wataru Gumato, who's friendly but rough and kind of dunderheaded. They do fit that of Doug Bowman. Okay, yeah, so Wataru Gumato is the Japanese version. He's kind of like, the way this plays out, I just immediately made me think of Kolchak the Night Stalker. Only he looks like Hank Hill. What a weird combo. Kaplan's journal, who's the director of the hospital. Note about it. The man was a genius. HU599. It incubates in the host and induces brain death. What's more, this particular bacteria functions as another brain. It alters the nature of the host flesh itself, turning the skin green and blood yellow. By the standards of the human organism, the body is completely dead. However, it still continues to function. Parasitic brain continued by HU599 and the nervous system that unfolds from it continue to live. It is life beyond death. What we all have dreamed of, but none have been able to obtain, and none but a genius could achieve it. It's not really life beyond death if you are a zombie, right? Like, I want to be immortal. You can become a zombie. No, I don't think so. When he approached me with a plan, I couldn't approve it quickly enough. To trespass in the realm of the divine, the mere thought made me giddy. But seeing what it has wrought, the man truly is a genius of terrifying talent. Surely all must be proceeding according to his plan. My research, my reputation, my position. Now it seems that it will all be consumed by those monsters he created. But I will survive. No matter who must be sacrificed in the process, I will survive. I will survive. I will survive. And then she's, yeah. Uncle Philip spoke of the golden statue, and that's true. I burned the statue. Why won't the nightmare end? And then the rest of the detective said, I have my suspicions about Tate. Tate's lab is at the heart of this mess. Yeah. She knows about the baits within here, and there's the cop. Oh, there's zombies, wherever. This line I love. I slipped up by bringing Alyssa Hale to this place. As long as she sits quiet in the basement, though, she should be unharmed. Stupid. I brought this innocent person that needed to escape one crime scene to another crime scene, but I'm sure it's fine. Wondering why Maxwell wants to kill her, and there's Bates. I found a medical record about Lynn Maxwell, the guy in the mask waving around the hatchet. He was going on about Maxwell, wasn't he? Old Man Tate, Alan, Shannon, Maxwell. They're all connected. Put what scraps we have together and it all comes into focus mostly, though Alyssa probably doesn't realize it, but I do. Pretty clever. Oh, but this is no time to admire fine art. We've made it this far. I've got to do what I can to get us out of here, for Alyssa and me both. Both to survive. And so it all ended in jealousy, hatred, and revenge all mixed together. The flames I see before me, how could they possibly be enough to cleanse all this? So many have died. That fact is undeniable. That, and the fact that I was at the center of it all. Don't blame yourself. They did it to themselves. I lost my father in more ways than one, forever. The truth was in me all along, and I never knew it. The real me, hidden from me for so long. But this truth was paid for with so much death. Can I live with that? Who am I? Who should I live as from now on? It's ironic. Now that I know my true self, I've lost sight of who I am. Just thinking about me makes me wish I knew nothing again. Is that what you really think? I should have died back there, not everyone else. How can I go on? I won't die. Alyssa, can you hear me? I am you, and you're me. You might be confused right now, but I won't die, and I won't let you die either. That's vaguely threatening. It's power within the amulet. This is the point in the document where using a US setting instead of Japanese one starts really falling apart. Yeah, so this guy was made up for this guide, Takashi Asakawa, Doctor of Folklore Studies, National University. He's talking about Bates and the soul that lives within. Particular line prevents Bates from manifesting, talking about the amulet. It's an uncommon phenomenon among standard case multiple personality disorder. Goes on the amulet. It's interesting, but I'm not going to go through it. The amulet's nickname, Mikoshi, is taken from Mikoshiro, meaning in place of a child. In other words, a stand-in, a scapegoat, a sacrifice. In ancient Japan, soon after birth, the eldest child was customarily thrown in a river. Only children who survived this trial would be raised. Eventually, this practice was replaced with the Nagashibina folk custom, where a doll was floated downriver in place of the actual child, which evolved further into the Hinamatsuri festival, where the dolls serve a merely decorative function. Originally, the Hinamatsuri, so my pronunciation is probably awful on all these dolls displayed during Hinamatsuri were created as katashiro, dolls used to house the souls of children who were supposed to have been buried. So there's a long-winded bit of this that basically this amulet is connected to these dolls and is potentially like where Bates' soul is held. So when she has the amulet, his soul is stuck in the amulet. And when she doesn't have the amulet, it's free to use her body. Modern day, this custom of murdering infants is near completely vanished, and even the significance of the Ningyo themselves have been forgotten. However, there are records of child abandoning folk traditions persisting up until very recently in shaman Jushi families. One such family, the buried children would become patron gods of the family. However, the reason for the family's devotion to this tradition is unclear. Some say it's to preserve the family's spiritual powers, witch doctors. Others say it is to resolve karma, hereditary issues playing out through generations. An alternative explanation is that it is the strengthen. Probably should be two. It is to strengthen the secret practices handed down through the family. To these individuals, the Mikoshi-sama amulet would be the soul of the once buried child itself. The amulet would be created as a memento to seal away the buried child's soul, which the parent or head of the family would habitually wear close to them. The spiritual power then would be wielded at times of crisis for the family, with a Tamashizumi ritual conducted for the peace of the departed soul. A Mikushu-sama amulet would be a charm that holds the strong spiritual power. It's unclear if the Tamashizumi ritual is being conducted for the peace of the buried child's soul or other unspecified souls threatening the safety of the family and precipitating the crisis. For the obvious conjecture to be made that Alyssa's Mikoshi-sama amulet is a repository for the spirit of Bates buried shortly after birth. Alyssa and Bates were given life to meant to exist at the same time. At the same time Alyssa was born, her counterpart personality Bates was also born. Whether Bates was actually given life or was buried before that point, or was born merely symbolically, this is all irrelevant. So even this is like, there's some ambiguity here. Was Bates the twin that is sometimes mentioned that was also buried, whose body died but soul persists inside Alyssa? Or was Alyssa born with two personalities and the other twin is just in the wind? What matters is that under some manner of circumstances, Bates' life ended shortly after birth and the amulet was created as a Nigiwari, his substitute or stand-in, as a repository for his soul. The spiritual power of the amulet Bates is very strong. Bates' soul desires to be at the forefront. Bates is constantly trying to slip through the cracks in Alyssa's consciousness to surface. However, as long as Alyssa is wearing the amulet, his Katashiro, Bates is with Alyssa and therefore complete. However, the moment the amulet parts from Alyssa's body, this state of completion is shattered and Bates is able to surface. This is a long-winded explanation of the charm. Way more when we get in the game. However, one question remains. How did such a charm make its way into Alyssa's possession? That she obtained it from her father, Alan Hale, seems certain, but whether this was wrought by human hands or a greater power at work, perhaps fate itself, remains unclear. There's a section on HU599, which is the cerebral toxin virus, developed by George Maxwell. Maxwell family was a clan of origin immigrants from Chinese Korean mainland renowned as witch doctors, practicing both spiritual and medical arts. We're a well-born family whose heritage as witch doctors dated back 1,300 years. George was the current head of the family. 4 secret arts were passed down within the Maxwell clan. The ability to induce a trance state to commune with the dead. The ability to induce out-of-body experience. The ability to take over the body of another and control it as their own. The ability to raise and control the dead. The drug involved with primarily consisted of natural substances such as peyote, handed down within the Maxwell family, but George developed a synthetic substance with a chemical formula similar to that of LSD. 1,300 years of witch doctoring. Yep, they've been in the business. Long time. Suggesting a potential as a schizophrenia medication. As for 2 out-of-body experience, method of breathing that induced temporal lobe epilepsy was taught from generation to generation within the family. Their friendship with Dr. Carl L.R. Jansen of Denmark Hill, London, George devised a technique using a blend of ketamine and PCP to obtain the same results. And this guy was on some heavy stuff here. His colleague Philip Tate at Memorial Pharmaceuticals inherited the results of his research and was in the process of commercializing the drug as a treatment for depression that acted even more quickly than Prozac. If you're depressed, you're going to take ketamine and PCP, I think you're going to have a lot more problems. But I'm not a doctor. To reinforce stem from the same procedure also serves as a source of subject at hand, HU599, to assist the exchange of souls in bodily possession. Maxwell Family Archives detail how to compound and use Henganten, a soul-recalling medication made from a poisonous mixture of fugu ovaries. That's like pufferfish, right? Fugu. Japanese common toad, sea worms, and human brain material, among other ingredients. In other words, this Henganten poison was capable of placing a person in a suspended near-death state. Their key soul was extracted and they were temporarily buried in the earth. Then, after 3 days, the person will be unearthed. The components of the soil would have neutralized the effects of the poison, and the person would be resurrected as a soulless servant. So that's just a variant of like the zombie dust kind of idea, like Serpent in the Rainbow. Childbearing ritual passed down within the Maxwell clan was symbolic of this. Ritual is used to raise the dead. You're not really raising the dead there, is what they're saying. They're putting them into like comas and then raising them as like brain dead servants. Burial has its hazards, and the resurrection did not have a 100% success rate, so George abandoned the burial custom. Proceeding from the premise that the soul was in essence an activity unique to the brain, Maxwell mixed Hinganton with the aforementioned synthetic drugs such as ketamine that agonize the PCP receptors in the brain, thereby perfecting HU599. Oh, so these are zombies are on PCP and ketamine, is what I'm getting from this. Turns them into zombies and then gets them really high. Maxwell's insight was indeed genius. However, even though he avoided the risks of burial with the use of chemical substances, another issue remained. When a foreign substance such as HU599 begins to act as a parasitic brain, the immune system rejects it, and the organism is rendered dead. It was the standard mechanism programmed into the organism's body. In this instant, the organism is dosed with HU599 were indeed in a near-death state, continue to survive. Whatever mechanism that made this possible is unable to be found even in Maxwell's files. Believe that dissection of the zombified bodies will provide a hint to resolve this question, but demands for this continue to be denied by the government. Even I cannot deny that the resolution of this question represents forbidden research. Forbidden research. That might give rise to a second George Maxwell. However, this research has the potential to increase dramatically the survival rate when it comes to organ transplants. That seems like a bad direction. I strongly urge the police to submit their own request for access to the government so that permission for dissection may be obtained. Yeah, so when people get organ transplants, we'll shoot them up with ketamine and PCP and then the zombie virus so that, like, their kidney won't get rejected. Never mind the rest of it. Yes, you'll turn green. Yes, your blood will turn yellow. Yes, you'll have a craving for flesh. But you'll have your kidneys. And then this goes into the Maxwell family, which is a lot of what we already talked about in the previous ones. Their clan, they called them an Oni clan. Which relates back to the mask, the Hanya mask that he wears, and how it was likely that burying the children was a form of karma, that there would be some cursed child that they would have to get rid of to free themselves from some evil spirit that will come after them. So really like digging up Alyssa, even indirectly. It's one of those things, like that kind of story that's like I don't know if you'd call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, but like this curse is going to happen to you. And then some stuff happens and it just seems like, well, he got hit by a bus. That's not a curse. Like, well, no, it is, because you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm communicating that very clearly. Something that seems like it should have more of a supernatural bent, but the end seems rather mundane in this case. This other unrelated guy got pissed off and drugged a statue, dug up this kid and drugged a statue to make you go crazy. And so, like, by your kid not being buried, like, the spirits did get revenge on you. So they were kind of right to bury these kids for their own self-preservation. So, yeah, there's, like, explanations behind all of that stuff. I do like in that writing that they try to tie back together a supernatural aspect to the zombie bacteria. That the Maxwell family were like supernatural zombie masters of old, but it's actually like we figured out how to make a modern version of the zombie drug and it kind of got out of hand. But really, like, that's our bag, is like we raise the dead, and this is how I did it. But yeah, it'd be nice if any of that stuff was in the game. But I think it's interesting. It makes for an interesting story, touches on a lot of interesting Japanese historical aspects of stuff. That's one other thing I want to try, and I don't know how long it will take. From religion to pharmaceuticals, yeah, it's very strange. I will say I don't mind as much that so much of the story fell outside of the game. What was in it, I found weird and disjointed. Pieces don't fit together. They still don't, even with all of that. But I liked it overall, except for the zombie aspect. And that's my big beef with this game, and why I ultimately put this like way down on the list of in the clock tower series of which, like, what's good, what's bad. This one's like way at the bottom so far. Just that last section, like having to switch back and forth constantly. It's not well tuned for combat. You can't give people a gun and then you can't refill ammo unless it's completely empty, and you can get another one, but you have to completely empty the gun out. It's bad. Like, the pieces don't fit. You know, if there weren't so many zombies, it wouldn't be such a big deal. Or if you could reload the guns or had more options how to deal with them, it would be okay. If you didn't have to go through such a lengthy process to transition between Bates and Alyssa, having to flip-flop back and forth wouldn't be such a big deal. In a more modern game, it would just be a button combo. You just do it and switch. I think this is decent having you do that stuff, but having that end the zombies just like makes it all feel that much worse. The first chapter was phenomenal. The first chapter is great. Absolutely loved it. I thought the immortal stalker in the form of a knife-wielding child was really cool. The samurai added onto that was even better. The hallucinogen doesn't explain all this stuff unless you're just going to say Alyssa hallucinated it all. Like, at one part you can get attacked and murdered by a statue, by like a little tiny statue that flies around the room yelling, "I'll kill you," in Bates' voice, no less, which is another weird thing that gets no explanation. You know, and then try and say like, well, it's all science. Okay, but like, who's Bates then? What's Bates' deal? Bates is obviously supernatural. So I don't know. It's kind of flimsy. I really feel like they took this in two different directions and kind of busted it up. You know what I'm saying? I had fun playing it. I do want to say that I did have fun playing the game. I just found the last chapter to be very frustrating, and it soaked a lot of the fun out of it. But I did like the story as it was presented. I wish there was a little bit more developed within the game. It doesn't do as good of a job. It's not as, like, none of the games to me have been as good as the first one. I'll be honest. The second game comes close, which I really like the second game. I still like the first game more. But the second game comes pretty close. This I feel was a misstep. The reason I stopped it at Clock Tower 3, or Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, Clock Tower Ghost said, before getting to Clock Tower 3 is because after this, a year or two after this, Human Entertainment went bankrupt, right? And all this was shut down. Multiple people from Human Entertainment went on to work at other companies and found other companies. Clock Tower was purchased by Capcom, and Clock Tower 3 was a joint production of Sunsoft, which is wild, and Capcom. Has nothing to do with the original teams, the original people involved, original writing. It's a whole nother thing that may make some references to a Scissor Man, but that's about it. It's a whole nother animal. There's also, was it Haunting Ground, which is very similar in nature to Clock Tower. That's another Capcom game. And then, of course, we have Nightcry, which Hifumi Kono crowdfunded Nightcry as a new Clock Tower-esque game, which I've seen gets pretty middling reviews, if not outwardly bad reviews. I will play that. I'll play both of those games. All three of those games I mentioned. Probably when October comes around, I'll play Nightcry, at least maybe Clock Tower 3. But this is like the end of the original era of Clock Tower, the original Human Entertainment era of Clock Tower. Human Entertainment made a lot of good, interesting stuff. And it's a shame that they're gone. According to that video that I had posted talking about it, it seems like I saw a lot of speculation that like, well, this game did so badly it bankrupted. Like, no, from what I saw, like, their games were doing okay. They were doing what I think is the smart thing. They were making small games that sold adequately enough to fund the next game, and they were doing all right in that regard. It's just that the company made a lot of bad investments elsewhere. I want to try something here. There is a code which I just put in, and in theory should work. Maybe we'll find out.
Alyssa just called. She'll be arriving tonight.
That gives an extra weapon to Bates.
Do you really think it's okay?
So I want to see if we can see this real quick before I close the door on this. I thought it was interesting. I'm glad that guide got translated, because that's a lot of really interesting information. If you want to see more, you can go read it for yourself. I didn't want to sit here and read through the whole dang thing, but I thought it was very interesting. and it fleshes the story out a little bit more in the way we don't fully get in the game.
That might be Ashley.
Jump on that face. Not that we see.
I'll go and see.
She mostly just screams and runs away. They just walk, shuffle around very slowly. And I think I have to be Bates to see this weaponry. There's one thing I will say for the English version that I find absolutely unforgivable is that they just give away the twist of George Maxwell being the Oni killer, like, immediately. That's such an easy thing to just change that to Ghost Head or Oni Mask or Masked Killer or whatever, and not just call him George Maxwell. And then everything about it plays out as though it's a mystery as to who it is. Like, we all know who it is.
Hello, Uncle Philip, Aunt Catherine, it's Alyssa.
Whoa!
What was that?
What was that? What was that indeed? All right, let me double check this real quick before I get too far into it to make sure I didn't goofalete this up here. There's also an alternate outfit here. But I'm not going to look at those. All right. We'll continue this on until we get Bates, and then we'll see. Because I think only Bates can use it. If it doesn't work, that's just it. It's messed up. They destroyed the reveal like that. Yeah, it's very weird. Oh, I forgot. I got to turn the light on outside. Localizations are rarely perfect. There's always some room for improvement. A lot of times, the localizations were very rushed jobs. With limited access to the game or the script. So a lot of things get goofed up. And then this was still in the era where there was a real attitude of people aren't going to get it if it's too Japanese. And so that's why they changed the location of a lot of stuff, changed all the names.
What's that?
I think we're mostly past that now, but I don't know. I feel like the market now is like, clearly the kids love the anime, so we need to make this more anime. And all you have to do is watch the terrible live action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie where they overpronounce everyone's name is a sign of that. Like, the kids are gonna love it because it's foreign. Make it sound extra foreign. We need a key and to look at a body.
I wonder what this key goes to.
I wonder as well. Yeah, I assume the code worked. I think in the Japanese version, I also read when you enter codes for like alternate outfits or things, the background color changes, and it doesn't do it in the English version. So it's harder to tell if you've entered the code properly. Just imagining an executive saying that your voice in a boardroom. The kids love the anime. I mean, you could have said that when we were kids. Like, I think about a lot of the cartoons that I watched. We had Robotech, which is just Macross and Southern Cross and Most Speed, 3 completely different, unrelated series that were jammed together. We had all of that, and it was like, this is awesome. Like, most of the cartoons, even if they were an American production, were animated in Japan. So, like, we were getting that anime whether we knew it or not. And then there's still like, his name's got to be Rick. None of this Hikaru crap. It's Rick. Kids aren't gonna get it if it's not an identifiable name. I think they did a good job too in this first section with like the amulet and stuff. Because you have to come back down to this room to get the amulet. Why do you have to come back down here to get the amulet? Because when she fell over, it fell out of her pocket. But you don't see it now, but like it lines up. If you ever find yourself where she doesn't have the amulet, it's like, oh, you can trace back, like, did she fall over at some point? That's where it is. It's good, but it wasn't immediately apparent to me. But I think it's well done. Everyone loves giant robots. Who doesn't love a giant robot? Transforming robots. Man. I mean, Transformers was just a bunch of like random, mostly disconnected robot toys. I'm not going to bother with the samurai because we're not continuing this. I just want to go far enough to see if this thing works. If it doesn't, I'll try one more time. I did not hit X or start or anything like that, and it started the game, so I'm just like assuming that it did it. Pizza time. Oh, wait, that's not a pizza. It looks like a pizza box. I know it's like a chair. It looks like a pizza box with a head in it.
No! Oh no! Ashley!
Oh, no! I don't know who this character is. Back there.
My amulet?
Can't recognize it. It looks vaguely familiar.
No!
But...
Stop!
No!
Don't be afraid, Alyssa.
Right. I don't think that worked. Command list. Oh, these are all the secrets here. R1. Okay. Let me try this again. 1, 2, 2, start. Okay. Okay. I don't know if that worked. Because as soon as I hit L1, it started it. Ah, damn it. If I don't see something this time, that's just it. I thought it was interesting, but not enough to want to continue on that far.
Having her stay with us.
Yeah, I think I mentioned, but this is just a short stream to kind of cap this off. I don't know what your thoughts are having watched it. What you thought about Clock Tower. I liked it. I liked where they're going. I would have liked to seen more. I think that this just suffered from a lot of games that had their own unique thing that tried to chase after something else that was selling more. And I don't think that's always the good idea. It happens in modern games too, where like the publisher will get in there and be like, you know what you need? You know what you need? You need more of this. And it's like, that's completely incompatible with the game. But like, I guess we got to go in that direction. Kills a lot of games.
Alan Hale, that Maxwell curse is...
They could have just like, even if they just left the zombies in the second section, like that would have been fine. It would have been totally fine. Because he had the immortal stalker in the third section that was great and creepy. I enjoyed it. Didn't need all the zombies. But I like the music. I like the sound design.
Hello, Uncle Philip? Aunt Catherine?
Hey, there it is. Milikana.
What was that?
I don't really know how it gets used, but okay. We'll go through until we turn into Bates and then see if we can sort out its usage. Yeet! What's up, Zane? How's it going? How have you been? Good to see you. Just looking at some zombie stuff, checking out some cheats. Ha 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 ha. Ho 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 ho. Tee-hee. Murderous children. Doing great now? That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Haven't seen you in a bit. Although it's probably just have missed you where you've been. You've been places where I haven't been, would be my guess. But I'm glad you're doing great. Got work hours reduced? Nice. Nice.
I wonder what this key goes to.
That's always a good thing. Well, no, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Less stressed out now. Got a little more time for your own pursuits. That's always good.
What happened here?
What indeed? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. The evil kid is fun. I've played through this opening section many times now. The nice thing is if you're trying to get all of the endings, there's only one of them that is like you can't just save before doing it, and that's the samurai end because you have to like go all the way to the end. That's the roughest one. Smart contract doesn't affect my pay. Oh, nice. 9 hours a day now. God, you were working 14-hour days? Holy cow. Yeah, you need to drop that down. That's good. I'm glad they dropped that down. Man.
What is that?
I'm still unsure what this is, if it's like a cake. Like they just put her arm on top of a cake. What do we do with this arm? Put it on the cake. We'll figure it out later. All right, I'll go find that head. And then see what we can get from there. I know a way to trigger the kid showing up. I don't know if it works if you're Bates, though. I know it works when you are Alyssa. There's a radio you can do. It's my punishment. Oh my god. Is it the work hour reduction a punishment? Is that? That doesn't sound like a punishment. Or is the extended work hour punishment, which is that's pretty rough. Well, either way, I'm glad things are looking up.
No.
The real ghost head
no.
was here all
Ashley.
along. Yes. Yes. I should have turned on the cutscene
My
skipping.
amulet?
I can't.
No, stop.
That's not how many times when I'm playing through this to get the other endings where I'd come into a cutscene and start jamming the buttons and like, why can't I do this? All right. What we do now depends on where we can go from. Normally, you'd go downstairs and get the amulet and transform back into Alyssa because you need to be Alyssa for a bunch of the stuff, which starts off the trend of having to constantly swap back and forth. Was the ghost said the friends we made along the way? I hope not. There's not some terrible friends there. If they're all ghosts. Ooh. I mean, I suppose in theory, if I just hang around long enough, that kid will show up. I just want to see this thing once. This doesn't tell me how I use the thing. Do. Some more changes in the baits while panic mode, lower health, what to do. Looks at enemies like a shotgun. You only use it when your bait's is given. You stand back across the room like with the gun and wait for the light that comes out of it to grow as big as it can be. Then you aim at your enemies and fire. Kills them the first shot and like the handgun. Okay. All right. Well. Now I just need the kid to show up so I can battle something. Oh, dang it. Phone always rings. It doesn't do nothing. There's the amulet. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not going to bother. I mean, I guess I'll go in here and check, but yeah, I'll just do this. Pick the amulet, transform it into Alyssa, put the amulet down somewhere, and then go upstairs, touch that radio, which will trigger an attack that will transform me, and then I can try to use this weird thing. At least once.
It's Alyssa's amulet.
You don't say. Yeah. The other, like, besides just like the better creepy atmosphere and Immortal Stalker and layout, like the layout of this place offers you a little bit more in terms of like where you can hide. Although I could never get it to go off reliably in or in the closet. But it is one shortcoming or improvement, depending on how you felt about it from the previous games, which is the enemies never like. You can't fail. That broom in the bathroom that I killed zombies with always works. It's always there. That closet I hide here is always available and it always works. You know, in previous games, like that stuff, you know, use that item to hurt the scissor man. It's only going to work once. If you hide from the scissor man in there, it's probably only going to work once. So this game takes a lot of the pressure off from that, which does make the frequent attacks a little bit goofier because then you're just like, it's not as scary. You're just going to get through it. You know what I'm saying? Like at first it's like a relief because you don't have to worry about getting chased to your death and having to start over all the time. But then after a while, it's like, this is not scary that I'm being chased. This is merely an inconvenience. All right. We're going to look at the statue. As a treat.
Statue? What is this? It's possessed.
No, it's just drugged. Supposedly. Yeah, and that.
Some kind of power.
And what was that? Was that just PCP? I don't know a lot about PCP, but I don't think it makes
What's that scream?
I'm pretty sure that was Michael dying. Because we didn't touch the armor.
Oh, it must be broken.
Okay. Sounds like a Aphex Twin song. Here comes Stephanie. Just trotting in there. Tra-la-la. Ha 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 ha. Ho 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 ho. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay, we just at people. So I got a zapper. So it's a little slower, but you wouldn't have to worry about ammo for guns ever with this code. You could just go in there. Nice zapping. It is nice zapping. I'm going to, if I cut on, let's check out one alternate outfit. L1, R2, select triangle or square. L1, R2, select triangle. And we'll see. Okay. All right, we'll see if this code worked. Skip. Should have turned that on ages ago. Skip.
Hello, Uncle Philip, Aunt Catherine.
Nope. Try this one more time. It's one thing anytime I finish a game, is that most of these games have pretty good soundtracks I've enjoyed, and then I miss them when it's over. Like, oh, I'm not gonna hear that music again. Unless I go, like, actively hunt it down. I'm not super interested in the alternate costumes. I figured it would be fun. Just check it. But if we don't get it, then...
Hello.
Oh, we did.
Philip, Aunt Catherine, it's Alyssa.
It's one alternate outfit. Whoa!
What was that?
It's kind of like your classical sort of schoolgirl outfit, like the sailor outfit, a little bit. All right, and the other one is just replacing triangle with square. Let's try that one. I'm not sure what the other one is, but we'll find out. So it's L1, R2, select in square. Okay. Do 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 do. Skip. Come on, come on, come on.
Hello, Uncle Philip, Aunt
What
Catherine, it's Alyssa.
What in God's name am I looking at here?
What was that?
What is this? What is this? The Cats Broadway edition of Alyssa. Oh my gosh. What is this? So there's got to be some explanation for this. Do 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 do. Unlockables. Oh, it's a monkey costume. That's all this says. It's a monkey costume. Why? 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 What is this? Does Human Entertainment make some kind of monkey game? I'm so confused. I don't want actual monkey costumes. I'm not interested in that. Okay, well, that's not giving me any information. I'm not continuing that terrifying Google search there. That was a very horrifying Google search. Okay, well, it's a monkey costume. I don't know if that skirt was supposed to be there, if that was added on for like the US version. Maybe that is some censorship. Just so it, like much like the Kool-Aid Man was forced to, the costume was racist. I don't know what this is. Like the Kool-Aid Man was forced to wear shorts even though there's nothing down there. I guess you can't wear a monkey costume unless you got some pants on. That is the weirdest damn thing I ever saw. I don't know what to think about that. All right. Well, that's just gonna wrap it up completely for Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, aka Clock Tower Ghost Head. I make that distinction because the first Clock Tower that released in the US, Clock Tower, is actually Clock Tower 2. So it's the Final Fantasy 3-6 situation. So sometime in the next couple of months, probably around October, based on the last thing I saw, the re-release of the original Clock Tower, which will be the first time it'll be officially released in the US, will be coming out. I think the only physical copies you can get were from limited run games, and I think the pre-orders are already over. I don't particularly like those guys, but I'm not going to get into all that. But I'm sure it'll be on the eShop on I think PlayStation and Switch. I know Switch is getting a release, so look forward to that. If you haven't played it and you're interested, I mean, I highly suggest checking it out. It's an older game, but it's really fun. If you're a fan of Italian horror movies, particularly Dario Argento movies, I highly recommend it. It is super referential to those. Really good stuff. I don't think they ever quite hit on the same level again, although the second one comes close. The second one's pretty good. This game, less so. I had promise, it falls apart, unfortunately. I don't think it's terrible. I don't regret playing it. I wouldn't tell people not to play it, but I would certainly not hype it up that high. I think the art is neat. The story is interesting, even if most of it you have to go outside the game to get. Controls are okay. It's not well suited to combat, so that's all of that. Next week, this will wrap it up for me next week. Next week I will be back. On Monday, we're going to play Blade for the PlayStation 1. Because it's topical to, the latest Marvel movie to come out. We got Wesley Snipes back, so I'm gonna go back to that one. I haven't heard it's really great, but it seems like it might be short. And then Tuesday, Paper Mario, and then Wednesday and Thursday we're going back. We're going back to the Game Boy. I really underestimated the other two games, the Ninja Turtle games, and so that's why I haven't gotten to Bubble Bobble yet. It's coming. I just want to talk for a minute. You'll see the Bubble Bobble if you stick around for a few more minutes. So Wednesday and Thursday will be TMNT. I don't exactly know which order yet. I'm gonna do that, but I will not be defeated by Back from the Sewers. I will beat that game, and then I will come at the Radical Rescue fresh. By the time I got to Radical Rescue, I was just totally not feeling it. I was like, no. I'm not in the mood for a lengthy Metroidvania style game after those other two. So I'm going to give it its own thing. We give both of those games their own stream. But it will be interesting. Have that more Game Boy. Nice. Yes. Back to the Sewers one. First round, not the final round. That's right. And I refuse to let the games go unbeaten unless it's just terrible. Rarely will I not come back to a game. Even Burning Rangers, I just kind of ran out of time. I ended up beating that off stream. And it's really not that interesting, and I didn't feel like going back. But I'll probably play it again someday because you unlock some stuff playing it again. And I do like Saturn games. I did enjoy that game, but it was It's very short and weird. We ever play the PlayStation elbow gaming? You better believe it. I'll probably play that in Halloween. That's an interesting one because of how late it came out on PlayStation. It was originally like a Windows game and it got ported to PlayStation. It's very odd. It's not a great one. Burning Rangers looks so good and the shit hit. Yeah, the game is good, but then they decide at the end, like, you know what this really needs is 3D platforming, like precision 3D platforming in this goofy boss, which I eventually got off stream and managed it. But like everything up to that, they could have just done some more like procedural fire levels and it would have been great. It just seemed like a tech demo. It's way too short, way too short. Don't pay a ton for that. If you're out there getting games and you think it looks interesting, don't pay a ton for it. Seriously, like you don't need to. But it's a fun game. I recommend playing it. And that is a game that if they put out like a newer version of that, it could be good. Although I don't know. The way companies are now, I feel like it's real hit or miss. Like it could get a good remake, or it could be some like horrible live service, DLC riddled nonsense. Anyway, that's it for this week. But don't go anywhere because it's time for Bubble Bobble. Hey, y'all, commence the bobbling. We're at what? What's this? 73. We're at 73. All right. Gotta get that guy. Those guys are dangerous. They got powers. Powers I do not want. Oh, I got my candy. Yeah, you hear him down there? You hear that guy? Causing trouble. Oh, he got me. That's what I didn't want. Oh, damn it. I don't have the second controller hooked up. Give me a second here. All right. Now I just got these two. I am hurrying. All right. You get back here. No. Well, at least he'll be out of there. Nope, he got me. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, can I get this water? Oh! I died, but I got him. Get it. Yes. I can't pause on the second controller. All right, well, I'm gonna do one more. This one doesn't seem that bad. Yeah, it's definitely strange. I've never tried to play both angles of this myself, so. Oh, you guys coming up? You coming up? Come on up. Jump up. Oh, Jesus. All right, well, it had to happen sooner or later. Which actually, works out in my favor here. We'll do this one more. Oh! I'll get the shoot. Guys ain't nothing. We get it. Okay. That's good. It's a little lightweight, but I likes it. Save them. And save them. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Jump. I will. I'm going to go see the Temple of Doom in theaters tomorrow evening with an old coworker. I'm very excited about that. This will be twice in 1 week that I get to go gorge myself on movie theater popcorn and watch an entertaining film. Though this movie's typically expensive, but it's fine. It just means I'm delayed in buying more junk consoles, which I definitely don't need. All right. Well, thanks everybody once again for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a little bit of a short one, but I really just wanted to put the cap on the Clock Tower 2. I felt like I didn't quite get to talk about everything I thought about it. Yes, you have witnessed the bubble bobble. You've finally seen it, and I still have 25 more levels to go. Well, 125 more, because I got to beat it twice. That's going to be at this for a while. Thanks everyone for stopping by. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Usually post updates when I got either there or at my Twitter account, which is just at Jumington with the 1M. On Twitter, you can follow me there, but it's generally speaking just my schedule and saying I'm live, so you're not gonna get a whole lot there. Like the video if you liked it. If not, that's fine too. Otherwise, I will catch you all on the next one. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll come back again on Monday. Until that time, so long, everybody. See y'all later. Goodbye.